This is CBC Here and Now.
Tonight, the Serious Incident Response Team is now investigating
after a person died in RCMP custody in Labrador.
After a lot of public outcry, I'll tell you why this building behind me, the Annex, is not going to be the new School of Nursing.
It seems like the political will for this project is lost.
And why the mayor is so disappointed.
That little bit of laughter every day, that little bit of laughter every day just helps them through.
It's meant to be a bit of fun, but it's also become a source of comfort.
Later on Here and Now, how this real-life elf on the shelf updated her tradition for 2020.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Anthony Germain.
And I'm Carolyn Stokes.
A person died in police custody in Happy Valley Goose Bay overnight, and now the Serious Incident Response Team is investigating what happened. A 35-year-old man died overnight in a cell of the Happy Valley Goose Bay RCMP detachment. Police say the man was taken into custody last evening following a complaint, and he was later found dead in his cell. The head of the Serious Incident Response Team sent out a news release today to say the RCMP has told him about it, and Mike King is asking the RNC to do the investigation with CERB's oversight. In the release, King says an update will be provided when the investigation is finished. Well, still with Happy Valley Goose Bay, some fallout over the return to work of a town officer. You'll remember seeing this video over the past few months. It shows a municipal bylaw officer in Happy Valley Goose Bay detaining an Inuk man and tossing him to the ground, as you saw there. Well, that officer returned to work this week. The man arrested in October was Joseph Tuglavina, and Here and Now spoke with the man's father.
As a father of my son Joseph Tuglavina, I'm really hurt by what happened, and what a constable done, he shouldn't have done that. It's not right to put somebody down with handcuffs around his back. And I feel bad for my son. It's hard for me. As a Inuk, like anybody else. It's hard for me to see my oldest son be. Sorry. Any parent like to see their son handcuffed down and put down on the ground, and in the first place it shouldn't happen. The way he told me, he was sober when it happened, and I would like to see justice done, and I don't want it to happen to anybody else. That's all I can say. I want to see justice done, and to tell the mayor of Happy Valley Goose Bay, Wally Anderson, tell him to replace the guy, and I want him fired. If it's possible, I'll be happy if that guy wouldn't be working. Never know, he might be do something else to another guy. I just would like to say to my son, I love you, my oldest boy, and I don't want anybody else's son, what happened to my son, put down like that. It's no good.
We heard Joseph's father there asking for justice. The town of Happy Valley Goose Bay says a full and thorough investigation has been done, but the town is not releasing those findings.
Well, all I can tell the people is that there was a thorough investigation done. It was lengthy, it was precise, it was detailed, and that's exactly what council asked for. I apologize, I guess, if there's apology needed to the people, but because it's a workplace issue, it's an HR issue, it's a privacy issue, and that the town is not to release the report nor the body cam portion.
Well, in other news, police on the Avalon's southern shore are investigating a homicide. There's been a heavy police presence in Renews after a suspicious death last night. The RCMP has charged 26-year-old Brandon Noftel from Renews with second-degree murder. Police say a 41-year-old man, also from Renews, was killed overnight. The RCMP's Major Crimes Unit and the Chief Medical Examiner are all involved in the case. Residents can expect to see an increased police presence during the investigation. Well, the RCMP is continuing its search for the remaining fishermen who were on board a scallop boat that went missing earlier this week. A man from Fortune, Michael Drake, is among the missing. The ground and air searches were suspended yesterday due to the weather. Now this morning, a Department of Lands and Forestry helicopter was back in the air to continue the search. The RCMP says it will reassess continuing its ground search tomorrow. 6 fishermen were on board the scallop vessel that hasn't been seen or heard from since early Tuesday morning in the Bay of Fundy. 1 body has been found. The Transportation Safety Board is investigating. Well, one COVID-19 number that is rising is the number of vaccinations, and there's the promise of more shipments to come. Also up today, the number of positive cases of COVID-19, 5 in total reported today. Here now, Peter Cowan is live from the newsroom. So Peter, let's start with the vaccine. How is it rolling out?
Carolyn, it's kind of slow and steady. We're seeing 160 vaccinations a day. That's what they've been doing yesterday and today, and those vaccinations are going to continue into the weekend. And it's healthcare workers at the Health Sciences Centre in St. John's who are the first up receiving these vaccines. Now, the minister admitted that they're working through a few kinks. Healthcare workers that I talked to complained that it's taking hours to get through to the phone number that they need to call in order to schedule their shots. There is a call center that's been hired to manage this, but because the vaccines came earlier than expected, that's not set up yet. Now, these next shipments that are going to continue to St. John's are going to be here, and because basically there's nowhere else in the province right now that has the freezers to store them.
Once we get our ultra-low freezers across the province, then the vaccine will be taken there directly. Rather than necessarily coming into St. John's. So the next location that I'm aware of outside of St. John's, which gets an ultra-low freezer, and possibly within the next 10 days, will be Goose Bay.
Okay, now on to the new cases. As I mentioned, we saw 5 new cases of COVID-19 today. How concerned are health officials about this?
They're saying this is pretty much what they are expecting because there is increased travel in and around the holidays. And in fact, 4 of the 5 cases today are people who've traveled. The 5th case is still under investigation, so it may be travel related. They just need time to do the interviews and figure that out. And when you look at cases yesterday that were indeterminate, they're also travel related. And what officials are looking for here is not necessarily the number of cases we're seeing, but the types of cases. And as long as it's travelers or even close contacts, then they feel like this is manageable.
It only makes sense that we will start to see more travel-related cases. And I think this is the, this is a realistic expectation that everybody should have. And if we continue to do what we've been doing, if people continue to isolate when they come here, if people hold fast to those tried and true measures that we've talked about, physical distancing, making sure you're wearing your mask, washing your hands well, staying home if you're sick, get tested if you're sick, we should be able to handle what comes our way.
Now, the briefings are going to scale back over the holidays. Monday is going to be the last regular briefing until the new year, at least as long as the cases stay low. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Peter Cowan for Here and Now.
Well, the Bloc Québécois is speaking out against Ottawa helping the province defer $844 million in Muskrat Falls payments. The political party says Quebecers should not have to put any money into a project designed to compete with Hydro-Quebec. A release from the party equated Trudeau to a compulsive gambler who doubles a bet because he's already invested too much. It says the feds shouldn't shoulder monumental debt stemming from Newfoundland and Labrador's stubbornness. Trudeau announced he was waiving Nalcor's immediate payments yesterday because Muskrat Falls isn't regularly producing power yet. Negotiations around the $12.7 billion project are continuing between the provincial and federal governments. Right now, there are few details on how electricity rates in the province will be affected.
Well, to the west coast now, Cornerbrook is calling off plans to turn its recreation space into the Western School of Nursing. City Council was looking at allowing Western Health to lease the annex for the next 20 years, but after a loud public outcry last week, any potential deal has been called down. Here now's Colleen Connors has more.
It seems like the political will for this project is lost.
There was a switch last night at a council meeting. The majority have now backed away from the idea of turning the large gym attached to the Civic Centre into a nursing school. This comes after last week's public protest, where hundreds marched to City Hall to show their disdain for the idea. Sports groups were against losing the annex, saying that the new recreation centre that's coming to Grenfell in 2022 would not have a big enough gym. The mayor disagreed with that and has been looking for a potential tenant for the annex since the spring.
I think it was a great opportunity for the School of Nursing to secure a space for them for 20 years and as well to secure much needed revenue for the city. $300,000 with CPI increases for a 20-year period or more. And remember, we're taking on, I guess, new responsibilities with our recreation center, and we have significant expenses with our current recreation facilities, so that money would have gone a long way. Of course, it would have caused inflexibility for many of our user groups, but it was an idea worth considering, I think, pursuing fully and in good faith.
Monaghan Hall, attached to the current hospital, is slated to close when the new hospital opens. There is no space at the new hospital for the school. Western Health had recommended the annex to the health department, saying it was a great, feasible option.
Losing the School of Nursing is not an option for me personally. I think it is a very important part of our economy, but more importantly, I think it's an important part of recruitment. Our healthcare system, we have a new hospital coming online, long-term care facilities. Without a nursing school, it's very difficult to recruit new nurses, and I think it's essential that we turn our attention now as a community to find ways and urge our province to find a new space for the nursing school.
In a statement to CBC today, Western Health said it will work with its partners to find a suitable solution for Western Regional School of Nursing, which it calls vitally important to its health system. So where will those 240 nursing school students go to school? Will they renovate a building in town? Will they build new? All of that is yet to be figured out. But they will lose their current location when the new hospital opens in 2023. Colleen Connors, CBC News, Corner Brook.
Well, the owner of 7 retirement homes across the province is fueling festive spirits.
That's right. He started a friendly Christmas competition among staff and residents.
We came up with this concept of a Christmas Hope campaign. And the whole concept of that was to bring all the homes together, our homes, bring all the communities around the homes together, but more for the residents to try to help lift everybody's spirits during, I guess, such a crazy year that we've had with the pandemic. It's been very tough on everybody. So we thought this idea would get everybody engaged into this idea and take their minds off of all the things that our minds have been fixed on over the last several months. We have 7 homes in the province of Newfoundland, and what we asked them to do, we went out to the managers and we said, we're going to leave it up to you guys. We want you to decorate the exterior of your building and also the windows and doors inside for the residents and the families to work on. And that pretty much was the task, and we left it up to them to get that done and do whatever they thought they wanted to do. The residents just loved it. They were fully engaged. The families got totally engaged, which was fantastic as well. And the other thing was the community. The community has pulled together and helped us out incredibly. It took their focus totally away from all these other things that they've been dealing with. They were engaged with the interior decorating. Their families came in and helped them with the windows and the doors. It really did lift their spirits. What we got out of this was more than I could have ever imagined. It was far and above what I ever thought. it would have been. And it's been incredible. It really has been incredible. It was a little bit of a competition, but it was very friendly, and the support that the managers gave each other as we started moving through the process and doing some of the homes, because there was a lot of different dates. They really encouraged each other, and they fed off each other, and it was really nice to see. Everyone is so excited about finding out who actually is going to win. We haven't decided that yet. We just ended up with the video footage today. So we're hoping to take that now and piece that together and have a look. And before day's end, we're hoping to try to make a decision on that.
Well, on that point, we have an update. They say they couldn't pick a winner.
No, the company says it was just impossible to pick, so they're going to throw a party at each of the retirement homes for the residents, family, and the community. That's, of course, once the health restrictions are lifted.
Yes, well, the restrictions in place at healthcare facilities also changed how Santa makes his rounds this year.
Yeah, Santa touched down at the Janeway Children's Hospital for a special visit. Now, normally, Santa likes to go inside and visit children spending the holidays at the hospital, but he just can't do that this year because of the COVID-19 regulations. So he waved at the children from outside.
Now, we know Santa normally travels in a sleigh with reindeer, but there are restrictions on where you can land at the hospital, so he came by helicopter instead. The search and rescue team from the 103 Squadron in Gander offered him a ride. After waving to the children, Santa left for the trip back to the North Pole. Well, as you can see, some messy weather right now, and more on the way for the east and northeast coast tonight and tomorrow. Freezing drizzle advisory in place. I'll break it all down after the break. I'm filling in for Ashley again tonight. Can you believe this is the last weekend before Christmas? If you're planning on heading out to do any holiday shopping this weekend, tomorrow is looking kind of messy for some places, but Sunday is looking clear as day for most. Let's start with some watches and warnings in place. There's a freezing drizzle advisory in effect for the northeastern portion of the island up through Green Bay, White Bay. That's for tonight and for tomorrow. This evening you can see all the flurries. That could be flurries. That could also be freezing drizzle. Could make for some slippery driving conditions in those areas. Nice and clear for Labrador tonight. Overnight lows -1 in St. John's, and the winds are ramping up as well. Northeasterlies gusting up to 60, 70 along the coast here. Could see about 2 centimeters of snow in the east tonight. Over on the west coast, -10 as the overnight low in Corner Brook. In Labrador, much cooler up there, but nice and clear with some light winds in the west. A wind chill of -30 in Labrador City, and a bit breezier there along the coast. Looking ahead to tomorrow, a similar situation shaping up tomorrow throughout the day. Some flurries, possibly some freezing drizzle for the northeastern portion of the island as well as the Avalon Peninsula, but pretty clear for the rest of the province. A few flurries there up in Lab West. Another 2 centimeters could come through tomorrow. Could be some flurries, could be some freezing drizzle, depending on how the temperature goes, and those winds are going to stay fairly strong. 70, gusts up to 70 along the coast there, and temperatures around the freezing mark. And similar story for central areas, around 0 there. Could be some freezing drizzle or some flurries. On the west coast, looking nice and clear right up through some cooler temperatures just below 0, and clear skies for the Straits, as well as light winds tomorrow. And for the rest of Labrador, staying chilly in Lab City, a wind chill of -19 with some flurries in the afternoon there, but the rest of Labrador looking nice and clear throughout the day tomorrow. Moving now into Sunday, as I mentioned, looking really nice for pretty much everyone. You can see there on the northern peninsula in the Port au Choix area, could see a few little flurries there on Sunday afternoon, but for the rest, it is lots and lots of sunshine and temperatures between -1 and 0 for much of the island, cooler up through Labrador in the -double digits there. So looking ahead to Monday, some messier weather heading our way, but for the most part on Monday, going to be some cloudy skies, temperatures bumping up above 0 for the island. Could see some showers for Port aux Basques, and then that wet weather will move in Monday evening. For Labrador, some flurries there. Lab City looking at -5 as the high. So cloudy on Monday, some rain coming through on Monday night, and then on Tuesday, some high winds moving in and temperatures really bumping up there. Some rain, 7 degrees on Tuesday, and some showers there on Wednesday in the long-range forecast. Similar story for central areas. Those winds ramping up on Tuesday, 8 degrees as the high, 8 as well for the west, with a chance of some flurries there on Wednesday. For Labrador, could be a messy mix for eastern Labrador on Tuesday there with flurries or some showers, and then some flurries moving in on Wednesday, and a bit cooler there in western Labrador. So here is tonight's Merry and Bright entry. Mum Botanical Gardens has a contest on the go, so we've been showing you some of these beautiful photographs. Just have a look at this. Lobster pots, of course, in Port de Grave. Colin Mercer, thank you so much for sending that in. Just a beautiful job. Well, the pandemic is changing how people celebrate this year, so you shouldn't be seeing a lot of the annual traditions like kitchen parties, mummering, and big family get-togethers.
Yeah, lots of changes, but for the first time since it was released back in 1983, the Sim and I Christmas song, Any Mummers Loud In? Well, that's just not going to apply this year. I should say, Any Mummers Loud In? That's what it is. And so that's why local singer-songwriter Sean Panting created this new version of the song. Check it out.
There's nothing like COVID to shag up your plans, Grandmother said as we all washed our hands. I hope there's no visitors planning to come. Go on, Shernan. Who'd be that stunned? Any mummers allowed in? No! Hark, what's that noise? All to our chagrin. There's mummers outside, but they're not coming in. They're out in the yard and they'll have to stay there till they fills out this questionnaire. Are you sneezing or coughing or feverish, my son? Stand there till I gets me thermometer gun. And stop posting photos, have ye crowd gone mad? You knows now the optics are bad. A scuff in the kitchen is all very nice, but we're heeding Janice Fitzgerald's advice. They're cancelling gatherings all over town. The government says shut her down. John Hagee has made it abundantly plain, unless it helps finance a Liberal campaign. Your quaint outboard antics are not worth the cost, so mummers, nice mummers, get lost. I don't want to sound like a humorless nag, but you're sloppy and careless and half in the bag. If you're dead set on dancing and singing your tunes, send Evites and do it on Zoom. You're not social distancing, that's plain to see, and that pillowcase on your head ain't PPE. Now pack up your ugly sticks, cordines and spoons, 'cause COVID has got Christmas ruined. Yes, pack up your ugly sticks, cordines and spoons. COVID has got Christmas ruined. Dip it off with me hand sanitizer. Come on, Nan, we Clorox the doorknobs.
Clorox the doorknobs.
So good.
Great.
So clever.
Yeah, Sean panting. Anyway, Sean, thank you very much. Great job there. Now, I just want to say something about 2021 is going to be a bit different for me. I'm going to be leaving here and now for a few months. I'm taking a leave of absence to pursue some academic pursuits at Memorial University, so I'll be back towards the end of April. So this is our
last time hosting together until
so
the
we
end
should
of
get
April.
last year we had
a
great picture with Santa last year, but now we have to take it from 6 feet away.
Seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
So just before we go to commercial, we'll get that picture and put it up on Twitter.
Okay, I have one more thing though.
Yep.
So
You want me to
you're
scram?
going to school, right? So
Yes.
We have some things for you, some CBC pencils.
I thought you were reaching for a dunce cap.
CBC
Excellent.
for you.
Well, thank you.
So,
You put them there.
Yeah, I'll put them there.
We'll get the Clorox that Sean Pan was talking about. We'll get your fingerprints off of that. So thank you very much. Anyway, I'll see you in April. I'll be here next week, but after Christmas Eve, that'll be my last day for a few months.
We're going to miss you.
Well, thank you. I'll miss you too. But I'll see you in April. Welcome back to Here and Now. I'm at the Kents Pond Fire Station. This Sunday, something's happening here, and they're looking for a bit of help and some toys. Sheila Guy Murphy, you've been handling this toy drive for how long?
Oh, over 25 years, cracking down on 30.
And before COVID, how did this work?
Well, before COVID, we were all together, you know, big party atmosphere. People would drop off toys or they'd bring them by the house, and the firefighters would be there, and then more firefighters would come. So it was a huge gathering. And of course, we cannot be at any of that now, and we're sticking to everything the Department of Health tells us to do for safety, for everybody concerned. So we're going to, we've decided we're going to make it happen, but in a different way.
Okay, so who's this muscly guy in the uniform over
here? That's Steve. And Steve, the firefighter, has been a part of this team for over 25 years. Hey, Steve?
Yeah, it's been over 25 years now, as you said, going on almost 30. So we enjoy doing it. We teamed up with Sheila, like I said, a long time ago, and this event has been hosted by her graciously at our house. And as we said in the past, we didn't need these, or we were able to, to socialize. And it's a wonderful event for the Salvation Army and brings in a huge amount of toys.
So why do the firefighters like being part of this?
It's just one of the things that we like to give back to the community. We like to be involved as much. We help the Salvation Army as much as we can with kettle drives in the wintertime, and we do hampers and stuff like that for families who have hit hard times and stuff like that.
Let me get back to Sheila here to find out what the details are. So obviously you want people to come by. What's the need for toys?
The need for toys. The need is great this year, and the Salvation Army tells us that the age group between 8 and 14, 15, boys and girls equally, they seem to get lost every now and then. So I'm putting an emphasis on that, and I'm asking people, I know it's last minute, I know you've given, some of you have given, those of you who haven't, I'm here to remind you to please, dig a little deeper this year, get a toy, bring it round, and it will go. Wear your mask. We're doing everything according to protocol. Wear your mask, keep your distance, stay in the car and pop your trunk and let us take out the toys or put them in the bins that will be provided by the Salvation Army, who will be here.
Okay.
2 to 5.
This Sunday.
This Sunday.
Right. Well, listen.
Little elf.
Okay. Well, listen, for the little elf and the big elf, thank you both very much and good luck.
Thank you, Anthony. Merry Christmas.
Now, if you're looking to help out, that toy drive is, as you heard, this Sunday afternoon from 2 until 5 at the Kents Pond Fire Station in St. John's on Portugal Cove Road.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, from one story of giving to another, Sandy Bennett runs a fitness center for women. Her business was hard hit by COVID-19.
And when she was feeling down during the pandemic, the community of women that she motivates during classes each day decided to do something special.
Well, as you can appreciate, COVID has had a really big impact on my business in particular. I shut down a couple of days before we were mandated to shut down, but it was a complete closure, so I had zero revenue. It's probably been the most difficult time of my life other than losing my father. The stress is incredible. Well, I was having a particularly bad day and I had to do an announcement, a live Facebook announcement, and I thought I was hiding my feelings of anxiety and sadness, but apparently I didn't do such a great job. There were a few tears, but I thought I pulled it back. 2 days later, on April 29th, I was sitting in my living room and I noticed one of my clients coming up and putting something on my step. I thought, oh, that's unusual, and she left. And then she came up again, and I was like, what is happening? And I look out and I see gifts on the step, and so my daughter says, Mom, you need to go out and see what's happening. And I was like, why? Okay, so I go out and I stand here and I look out, and as I look out, I see a car, and then I see a second car, and I look down the street and all these horns started to blow. What it was my members, my community, my heart, in 45 or 50 cars lined up down the street, and one by one, they drove by, they blew their horns, they had signs, we love you, Sandy, Empower Rocks, thank you, Sandy, we're behind you. It was amazing. It went on for like 45 minutes. I cried, it was amazing. Other than having my children and getting married, it was the best day of my life.
Welcome back. Sherry Gillum became a real elf on the shelf in Bonavista a few years ago, posing for photos in all sorts of places and situations. So it's perhaps fitting that for 2020, she updated the look to become Elf in the Bubble. I'll let her explain the rest.
Alfie's been around for a few years. She took a break because it's hard to come up with ideas. I mean, I'm not as small as those little elf on the shelf, so I can't get into the places that those little guys can. But this year, since the pandemic struck and everybody is dealing with a lot of things, I thought that it was time for her to come back and just give a little bit of fun. So just before Halloween, I was looking for a bubble because, of course, we have to stay in our bubbles. And then away we went. Well, the first picture that we decided to do was overlooking our town, good old Bonavista. And it's an old happy sight, and it was a happy sight to see that day when we seen her in her bubble. I was in my bubble up on top of the hill. It was windy. My husband was a little bit worried that I would blow away, but I didn't, thankfully. Well, my dear, she has gotten into a lot of mischief. She's been into grocery store freezers, eating their ice cream. She's been duct taped to walls. She has been in a bath full of marshmallows with cookies on her face and her maple syrup in her hands, just mellowing out. I had to fix my own hair. As you can tell, it's really nice with those marshmallow curlers and the maple syrup. It was, I mean, look how shiny it is. It's really nice. Oh, she went and tied my husband up and strung him up by his feet on his forklift into a lot of mischief. She was the baby. Oh, she's been in local stores trying out their mattresses. Yes, so she has. She's dressed up we had chickens. She's dressed up our chickens because you got to dress the chicken. She's been down the road to the mummers. She's been in a lot of places. And it's just to bring a bit of fun and a bit of laughter to people. And if I'm the one that got to take the brunt of it, then that's all right by me. The Alfie, the idea behind the Alfie came from one time we were doing a little drama in our church service, and they wanted someone to dress up as an elf. And of course, I mean, really, it was going to be me. And I sat on my child's crib. He was only a baby. I sat on his crib and I took a picture. My husband took a picture. And we sent it to my sister-in-law actually. And she loved it. And during this time of year, she finds it a bit hard with the job that she's in, dealing with a few things. So we said, I think I'm going to do it again. So I started, and it just snowballed. It snowballed from there. People were calling and sending messages, and some people that know my personality and know me, obviously they get a great kick out of it. But people that I don't know, I get messages from them saying, like, you don't know how much this is helping me through the season. And then you've got people who have dealt with people who have lost loved ones this year, or even in the past years that I've done this, that have said, like, that little bit of laughter every day, that little bit of laughter every day just helps them through. And I know what it is to deal with loss and sickness and stuff. And if someone was there to make me laugh throughout the day, then that's a good thing. It is. And if God has given me the ability to do it, then I'm going to do it. Even though I look like a fool.
It's important to find some Christmas magic the way Sherry is doing, especially given COVID-19. An upsetting milestone heading into the holiday season for all of us today. Canada reported more than 7,000 new COVID-19 cases for the very first time yesterday. Debate continues about the source of large outbreaks in this country. One Toronto doctor shares his experience.
What I've seen in my public health practice, when 99 people are doing the right thing and staying home, and wearing masks and all of that, it's only that one person that can enter another social group and they're infected and then unwittingly enter another one and leads to these large outbreaks.
Now, with the biggest mass immunization effort in history now underway in much of Canada, health authorities are urging people to keep up their efforts to control the spread of COVID-19. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is trying to reassure Canadians who received CERB payments in the spring who are now being asked to pay back thousands of dollars. But as Hannah Thibodeau reports, there is still a lot of concern for those recipients.
It's been a difficult year. There's no other way to put it.
That could be an understatement by the Prime Minister, as thousands of Canadians received a letter from the Canadian Revenue Agency saying they may have to pay back emergency COVID-19 relief benefits before the end of the year. The PM tried to reassure them.
We didn't deliver support to millions of Canadians who needed it just to claw it back at Christmas.
But he wasn't so clear about what happens after Christmas for people like PEI cake maker Christine McDonald.
They are now expecting me to pay back $18,500.
The issue for McDonald and others is how they calculated their income when they applied for the benefit, using their gross total. The CRA says qualification is based on net, but many Canadians say that stipulation was nowhere to be found when applications were accepted back in March.
I faithfully did everything that I was supposed to do under the emergency situation. And, you know, I did nothing wrong.
We're already broke.
This BC musician had all of his concerts canceled, had no income coming in, but he also got a letter because in his application, he didn't include rental income he receives. And he says he didn't know he had to.
The province has just asked us to buckle down again and stay home. We've missed the whole holiday season. As musicians, this was another of our busy times. And my son came down from upstairs and offered to sell toys to help. Like, you shouldn't have to do that.
The PM says good faith mistakes won't be punished or pursued. However, when he was asked if the government would waive repayments altogether for those who made honest mistakes, he would only say that they'll work with individuals on a case-by-case basis. Hannah Thibodeau, CBC News, Ottawa.
Well, many people filled out their CERB applications based on information that was provided by Revenue Canada call centre agents, and some of the instructions might have been wrong. Late today, the union representing those agents told the CBC that they were given incorrect information about eligibility requirements.
Public health officials are recommending the COVID-19 vaccine for most people, but not all. Children and people with severe allergies are being urged not to roll up their sleeves just yet. The same goes for pregnant women. Officials don't have enough data yet to know whether the vaccine is safe for them, and that puts expectant mothers in a tough position. Christine Birak has more.
Canadian doctor Sarah Lai is a pediatric surgeon in the United States. Lai wants the vaccine to protect her and her patients, but she's also 7 months pregnant, and these shots weren't tested on pregnant people.
I don't know if it's safe for me to have this vaccine. I don't know if it will be safe when I start breastfeeding to have the vaccine.
Currently, the UK is advising those who are pregnant should not have Pfizer's vaccine. The US and Canada aren't recommending it either, but add vaccines could be offered to essential workers, for example, if a risk assessment finds the benefits of the vaccine outweigh the potential risks.
That may mean to take the vaccine. That may mean to pass on the vaccine.
Doctors say vaccines that use dead pieces of viruses can safely be given during pregnancy. New mRNA vaccines don't use the virus itself. They offer a short-lived set of genetic instructions to build that outer spike to alert the immune system.
There's nothing so far that would lead us to say that this is a big risk.
Typically, pregnant people are not included in the first round of vaccine trials, but a small number of participants in the Pfizer trial did become pregnant. Doctors say they haven't seen any serious side effects.
But those people have not delivered their babies yet, so we don't know what happened with their fetuses yet. But so far, nothing that would be worrisome.
A recent American study suggests the absolute risks of COVID-19 during pregnancy are low, but pregnant women were at significantly higher risk for severe outcomes compared with non-pregnant women.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think it's appropriate in a situation like this to have a blanket across-the-board recommendation either to do it or not to do it.
But now there's just so many questions, you know.
Lai says she's waiting for more data, but may get the vaccine after her baby is born in March. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, recent attacks against Black Muslim women are creating a new level of fear for some people in Edmonton. The Hate Crimes Unit in the city has now joined police to investigate these assaults. Rafi Boudjikanian has the details.
I get in my car and I've actually realized that I always lock my doors.
Brahma Mohammed thinks a lot about staying safe.
Sometimes it's hard for me to say if I'm walking into a space, if I'm getting stares because I'm Black or because I'm Muslim or because I'm woman, or is it all of those things that are triggering the person?
Her fear all the more tangible now. Tuesday, Edmonton police arrested a 32-year-old woman and charged her with the assault of a Black woman wearing a hijab on a transit platform. A week earlier, police arrested a 41-year-old man after he attacked two black women wearing hijabs as they were sitting in their car in a shopping mall parking lot.
It is heartbreaking because it is not my idea of Canada, and it is definitely not my idea of Edmonton. But that hatred does linger and fester in all communities.
In the 10 years between 2009 and 2018, according to Statistics Canada, there were 127 police-reported hate crimes directed at Muslims in Alberta, and the trend is rising. Almost 50 were in the final 2 years. But community members say so much more goes unreported.
Some are not wanting to, for people to know publicly who they are. Some are worried about, retaliatory actions that can take place.
Edmonton police have taken the rare step of recommending increased sentencing in both recent cases based on what they call hate-related motivations. Rafi Bujikanian, CBC News, Edmonton.
Canada's chief public health officer says recent data suggests opioid-related deaths are at an all-time high. At a news briefing today, Theresa Tam urged Canadians not to ignore the problem.
Now more than ever, we must work together to curb this devastating trend, never forgetting that each and every opioid toxicity death represents a life cut short and a person whose loss is grieved by family, friends, and community.
There were more than 1,600 opioid-related deaths in Canada between April and June. That's the highest number recorded in a single quarter since 2016, when officials started collecting such data. COVID-19 restrictions have resulted in people using opioids while alone, which decreases the chance of intervention if they overdose. Tam said opioid-related deaths were on the decline in some regions before the pandemic struck.
Let's see who's celebrating birthdays and anniversaries. Happy 58th wedding anniversary greetings to Winfield and Iris Saunders of Point Leamington. Happy 65th wedding anniversary this coming Monday to Hazel and Albert Peach in Corner Brook. 61 years of marriage for Aubrey and Marion Pickett in Wareham. And happy 55th anniversary yesterday to Marilyn and Harvey Bennett in Bay Roberts. Anniversary greetings going out yesterday to Marjorie and Harold Nash in Fortune.
Happy 58th anniversary to Cyril and Daphne Murphy of Burnt Point. Happy 60th anniversary to Bernice and Willard Bailey from Fox Trap, Conception Bay South. They were married in New Chelsea, Trinity Bay. Happy 60th anniversary as well to Barbara and Calvin Tilley of St. John's. Congratulations to Harry and Donna Peddle of Botwood. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary. Sam and Barbara White of Gander will celebrate 71 years of marriage on Sunday, and yesterday was also Sam's 99th birthday.
Happy 50th anniversary today to Laura and Joe Wells from Springdale. Vince and Florence Ball in Port aux Basques are celebrating 53 years of marriage. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Leo and Mabel May of Mount Pearl. They are originally from Ballorem and Coombs Cove. Robert and Nina Elliott in Point Leamington are celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary today. Also, today marks the 61st wedding anniversary for Joshua and Sarah Young, formerly of Burgeo, now living in Mount Pearl. Happy 52nd anniversary this Monday that's the 21st, to Ernie and Kay West in Corner Brook. And today, Clyde and Flora Fever from McCallum are celebrating their 62nd wedding anniversary.
Now to some birthdays. Happy 96th birthday today to Helen Phillips. Happy 90th birthday to Miriam Anstey in Grand Bank. Miriam is originally from Grand Beach. Happy 100th birthday today to Olive Millie in Springdale. Happy 93rd birthday today to Shirley Green of Paradise. And happy 90th birthday to Cyril White in Gander.
Well done, everyone. A programming note for you. We don't have shows for the next 2 Fridays because Christmas Day and New Year's Day.
Yeah, it's so close. So we'll bring you our weekly birthdays and anniversaries on Wednesdays during the holiday period. That's Wednesday, December 23rd, or Tibbs Eve, as most people know it.
My dad's 80th birthday. Might get 2 presents this year, Dad. And the following Wednesday, December 30th. I'll see you on Monday.
Have a great weekend.